Hey guys, Caro97 again, this time with a review of the Model 44 scale high-grade Universal Century Zeta 2 from the Zeta Gundam MSV series. For colors, it's got quite a unique color scheme going on. It has a lot of blue, and instead of the normal white, it actually has light gray, which isn't something we see a lot. And that's not the only gray we're getting, we actually get two more shades of gray. We get a very dark gray for the beam rifle for most of the joints, the hands, and then we get a slightly lighter gray, like somewhere in between the dark and the light gray, for the mega beam rifle, the clay bazooka, and the parts formation brick. And then to round up the color scheme, we get some details in red and yellow. For stickers, we get a few of them. Quite a few of them, but most, if not all of them, are completely understandable. As you can already tell, we get a lot of little yellow ones for detailing. One here at the bottom of the legs, the yellow ones right there, the yellow ones in here. That's a part. The big yellow piece here is a part, but then the yellow piece on there, that's a sticker. These two are stickers, same on the other side and on the other one as well, of course. On the back, of course, these two are a sticker as well. Then the red pieces here are stickers. And that's all for this guy. Well, on the head, of course, we get two stickers for the eyes, one for each, one for the main camera, and then one for the sub camera as well. And both cameras are very nice metallic stickers. Also, for some reason, the red ones on the back are also metallic stickers, even though all of the other red pieces on the mobile suit are just normal matte pieces. Then, a lot of yellow detail stickers on the beam rifle, and of course a very nice scope with that green shine on it. And finally, we get a very big metallic green sticker on the mega beam rifle. So, except for the red ones on the back of the legs, no real problem going on there. For articulation, the head goes a bit up, bit down, rotates around about that far until it gets stuck on the collar, then also moves forwards and backwards for chicken movement. Arms rotate around all the way, a little bit forwards and backwards movement, and up about that far on that joint. And then the arm itself will go up nicely all the way like that. We'll rotate around below the shoulder, bent at the elbow at a single joint, but not too bad. Then the hands, as always, are on ball joints. We'll rotate around, wiggle around, and do everything a ball joint does. Then the waist here is on a ball joint. We'll wiggle around, rotate around, only a bit, partly because of the way the thing is designed. A lot of pieces get in the way of that, so that's just the way it is. Turn it around. These pieces here are on ball joints, so you can extend them a bit, and then it will wiggle around. And these flaps will also go up and down about that far. This nose cone isn't going to go anywhere though. Then front skirts separated, as always molded together, but can be separated. And legs go forward about that far, backwards all the way, because of course no back skirt. So he could do a split. Or it is a Grande car, if it wasn't for his protruding part. Then move that down. Side skirts. This is a pretty unique design. Instead of having them linked to the waist, it is now connected to the upper leg with a ball joint, so that will wiggle around, and in general doesn't really get in the way at all for that kind of movement. Oh, not too bad. The legs then will rotate around, and fortunately those side skirts are mounted on the top and not on the bottom that would rotate around. So that's a pretty good design right there. Then legs are on a double joint nicely like that. And also, if you want, you can push that up so it makes it look like, you know, it has some knee movement going on. Then the foot guard goes up and down, feet forwards and backwards. Of course, we have a toe joint, which will come into play later on. We'll rotate around a bit and side to side nicely. Overall, the articulation is pretty solid on this guy. On to accessories, and man, does this thing come with a lot of them. For starters, we get two beam sabers and also two very nice pink beam blades. Push in the beams, push them in the hands, and they're going to stay in there very nicely. Not falling out at all, even if you shake the machine. But since we cannot store them anywhere, let's quickly push them to the side and go on with some more interesting accessories. The Mega Beam Rifle. And we don't just get one trigger finger hand, we get two of them. Also notice how the ball joint is at a slight angle, of course, to make pointing this thing a lot easier. Put that in there. Also, all of the weapons come with pegs that go into holes inside of the hands. And there we go. You know, pointing this thing somewhere, it's a pretty massive gun, so you do have to fight with it a little bit to get it to point somewhere, but it's a fantastic, massive thing. Also, what's really cool about it is that it will take the beam saber blades. And I always love it when beam rifles do that. That just looks fantastic. Then, as I said, we don't just get one trigger finger hand, we get two of them. Once again, this guy is on, the ball joint is on a slight angle. Put it in there. And this looks like the beam rifle from the Zeta Gundam. Well, because it is, but it doesn't have the functionality. All it does is that the handle will go slightly up and down and will actually tuck in there, but that's all. It doesn't have any connectors to attach to the mobile suit itself, nor does the barrel go in and out. It's just two solid pieces slapped together. So even though the handle can go in, there isn't a real point to doing it. Also, I haven't pointed this out yet, but the beam rifle and the Mega Beam Rifle do have pegs on both sides. And of course, they're in the hands absolutely solidly because of them. Also, bring in the second beam, and there we go. That is awesome. But that's not everything yet. We also get two clay bazookas. This time around, we only get one peg on each side of the handle, but these are actually two different clay bazookas. One has the connection piece on the left side and the other one has it on the right side. Same goes for the pegs. One has them on the right side, the other one has them on the left side. As for movement, they will collapse and then they will go onto the backpack. There we go. Just like a certain mobile suit, Char never piloted. And this thing packs quite an arsenal. With this arsenal out of the way, it's time for the final accessory, the parts formation brick. And that means we're gonna have to tear him apart. Yeah, just imagine it's the G-Savior or something. And one thing I noticed is that this guy actually has a pretty big piece left over after you did the transformation. But overall, it's pretty easy ripping him apart and then putting him back together. The hardest thing I found was removing this nose cone because it actually connects to the back very well. And you can already see the cone is coming apart. You know, this isn't the best design. This isn't supposed to come up. This is supposed to stay put to the back. So yeah, other than that, there isn't really going to be any problem. These just fly off, rip. Come on. There we go. This first has to be bent and then removed. There you go. And with this removed, that is everything that is left over. That is actually, you know, quite a lot left over. But let's put that to the side and forget about it. And just get on with this, turn it like that, and put those pieces in there. Next up, attach the cockpit and the back piece right there. And fun fact about the transform mode of this thing, it's supposed to have better articulation and maneuverability than the Zeta Gundam. Of course, because this thing isn't designed to work in the atmosphere, so it makes sense that it is better than the Zeta Gundam in some aspects. So there we go. The nose cone, and we're already almost done. So that is one thing this machine really has going for it. It's a very straightforward transformation and pretty easy to pull off. And oh yeah, just put those in there, and then we're already done with this. So despite having a lot of pieces left over, it's a pretty fun and okay transformation to do. So that is transform mode as is. Of course, the one thing that is lacking, weapons. Put them on, the clay bazookas. And then this thing. The funny thing is, even the weapon parts forms, and that's not something you see every day, a parts forming weapon. So put this, nope, other way around. There we go. And then this will simply slide on there. There we go. And voila, the Zeta 2 in Wave Rider mode. And you might be thinking, well, how are we going to put him on an action base? We get this connector here for an action base number 2. Simply connects to those pegs. These pegs just go into those two holes right there. Wraps around the Mega Beam Rifle and then just pops on there. As I already said before, unfortunately, no way to connect this thing to the Wave Rider mode. There just aren't any connection for it. Would have been really cool if there was some kind of connection on the nose cone. I mean, just like the Zeta Gundam would do, but, you know, unfortunately. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And well, for 2,400 yen, it is on the expensive side, but what you're getting is a very nice and solid machine. Articulation, pretty much what I expect for the time. Nothing too mind-blowing, but absolutely nothing bad either. Accessories, man, this thing comes with an arsenal. If you like Zeta era machines, pass the fun around. I mean, the two clay bazookas, the beam rifle, the Mega Beam Rifle, and of course, the beam sabers to round up his arsenal. It's great. So, objectively speaking, nothing too much wrong with this thing. It's a really good and solid machine. Now, subjectively, for me personally, the proportions seem to be a bit off. Like, mainly on the head, it seems to be that, to me, that the faceplate is a bit too long, the eyes are a bit too small looking at it from the front. And on the box, well, I mean, on the picture on the front of the box, it looks like it's more of a lean and mean face, whereas this, you know, it's a bit tucked in between the shoulders, and the torso seems to be a bit too wide. But hey, if you're not thinking to yourself, Kakarot, that's all you, well then by all means, go pick this thing up right now. Preferably sooner than later. For size comparisons, here he is next to some other machines from the Zeta lineage, and well, for accessories, he definitely has them beat, but for pure looks, yeah, I don't know, I'm still veering more towards the original Zeta Gundam or the Zeta Plus. Also, fun to note is that he is actually quite significantly shorter than both the Zeta and the Zeta Plus, because he is supposed to be only 18.3 meters. Then next to some members from the Delta lineage, of course the Hyakushiki and the Delta Plus. And now the question is, do the bazookas, well the clay bazookas we get with the Zeta 2, fit on the Hyakushiki? And the answer to that is, they totally do. So if you want to have your Hyakushiki to have 2 clay bazookas instead of 1, the Zeta 2 is the machine to get. And finally, here is next to the standard size Gym Custom and the always bulky Zaku 3. Notice how in head height, it's about the same as the Gym Custom. So it's actually a pretty standard sized mobile suit. Of course, with the added bulk of the backpack, which definitely makes him look a bit more impressive. And well, that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.